Welcome back, boys and girls, to the Kamikaze Cash 3K Challenge, brought to you by Mumu. Please sign up so I can feed my starving family. In the prior two episodes, I had some early wins with a SPY put and an iron condor, but then suffered a big unrealized loss by purchasing leveraged semiconductor ETF Soxal during a de facto chips embargo, praying that Trump and Xi would finally decide to talk, which in hindsight was a poor decision. At the end of week 2, I had given up my gains and stood about $90 in the red. This demonstrates the effective employment of a strategy called trading like shit, or TLS. This episode, I'm looking to reverse course by gaining money rather than losing it. And in light of feedback from viewers, you guys are generally in agreement that you want to see actual Theta Gang strategies. You do not want to see Mikey Millions buy Soxal shares and then pray for a positive tweet about trade talks. You want to see Theta Gang strategies. So this time, that's what you're going to get this week. Let's hop to it. I worked on another video on Monday and was really hungover on Tuesday, so here we are on Wednesday, April 23rd. So far this week, it's been decent news. JD Vance said trade talks with India are looking solid, and I assume Prime Minister Modi already thanked him for the progress so far. And then more importantly, at the White House briefing introducing the new SEC chair Paul Atkins, Papachito said that he would not fire Jay Powell, would not play hardball with China, and that tariffs on China would not remain at 145%. As you might imagine, the market is extremely excited about this. At market open, we're off to the races on top of some gains yesterday. My Soxal is finally no longer getting gaped, and over on Mumu, we can see that I am once again green for the challenge. Markets look ecstatic, so I am really on the fence about what strike to sell a Soxal covered call at, or if I should sell a covered call at all. I'm not totally convinced that the worst is behind us. Twitter and the market are acting like Trump caved, but if we watch his actual comments instead of just reading the headlines, this doesn't sound like he's walking anything back. Let's listen.
With China, are you going to play hardball with them? Are you going to mention COVID?
Well, I'm not going to say. No, I'm not going to mention COVID. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice. They're going to be very nice. And we'll see what happens. But ultimately, they have to make a deal. 145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high.
What level do you think it'll come down to if you haven't?
It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero.
When we actually listen to what he said he's not going to call China and say, I'm playing hardball with you. That's in response to directly being asked if he's going to do that. That's not quite the same as announcing that he's backing off his strong stance against China. And this idea that tariffs won't stay at 145%, that's in reference to after a trade deal is signed. Of course tariffs will come down after a trade deal is signed, that's the point. But if you just listen to the talking heads, you'd think Trump completely changed his rhetoric, and I don't believe that. I think we're going to stabilize a bit around this level. That said, markets can stay regarded longer than I can stay solvent. So I'm going to sell a covered call on Soxal, but I will sell it at an out-of-the-money strike. Although I don't necessarily think we're going to rocket any higher, I'm hedging my bad judgment by selling the $12 strike covered call expiring on Friday. The premium is not that much at only $13, but against a stock currently trading at around $10.70, that's more than a 1% gain on something expiring in 2 days. And if Soxal does hit $12, that'll be a $120 gain on the shares as well. That's basically a housekeeping move at this point, and an out-of-the-money Soxal covered call for $12 premium is not getting me anywhere closer to crab rangoon. So based on my thesis that we are going to flatten out, let's lay on an iron condor. An iron condor is a strategy in which you sell an out-of-the-money call and an out-of-the-money put to collect premium, but then you spend some of that premium back to buy a further out-of-the-money call and put. This is similar to a short strangle, but with protection on either end in case the stock tanks or soars. When markets stay flat, that's when iron condors do very well. According to Tasty Trade, which is really the best source of option strategy research on the internet, the best approach to iron condors is to sell approximately 20 delta strikes and then buy the strikes somewhere between a 5 and 10 delta. Expiration should be about 45 days out. In my case, I'm going to skew a little bit bearish and sell a few strikes further down than the traditional levels. So let's open the SPY options chain. Right now, SPY is trading at about $539. I'll go to the May 30th expiration since it's the closest I can get to 45 days to expiration. I'll start with the put side, and I will sell a put contract to collect premium. Traditionally, I'd go for the 20 delta, which would be at the $500 strike. but I think the market will fade this rally a little bit. So I'll sell the 15 delta at 490 to hedge some downside, and for doing so, I'll collect about $415 in premium. To avoid being blown out if SPY does tank, I'll now give back some of that premium to buy a long put at the 9 delta, which is the 470 strike. My put wing is complete, and I now have a put credit spread netting me about $175 total. To turn this into an iron condor, I need to do the same move on the calls side. I'll sell the 570 call to collect $430 in premium. And then, to avoid being demolished if SPY moons, I need to buy a further out of the money long call. I'll set my call wing with the same $20 distance as the put side, and I will give back $108 of premium to buy the 590 call. In total, I'll collect a little more than $500 premium. Now look at the profit and loss chart. I have $20 wide wings, so my max loss is $2,000 minus the premium collected. So I'm taking a potential max loss of almost $1,500 in exchange for something like $530 premium. That sounds like garbage, but remember, for me to take max loss, SPY would either have to moon to 590 or tank to 470. These are both obviously on the table, but I'll follow Tasty Trade's guidance to take profit at 50% gain. The probability of this iron condor losing value so I can take a gain is much higher than a straight moon or tank. This is what Theta Gang trading looks like. It's not sexy. It's putting up $2,000 in buying power for a $520 max gain trade. But Theta Gang works when other approaches don't. And rather than speculate in this turbulent market, I'll take my Theta Gang gains instead. With $1,000 of buying power wrapped up in Soxal and another $2,000 in the Iron Condor, I'm at my challenge limit until I make a change. While we wait for Theta to do its thing, I reintroduce Mumu, who is graciously sponsoring this whole series. I remind you that you have until June 3rd to take advantage of Mumu's biggest free share offer they've ever done. When new users sign up and make a qualifying deposit, you'll receive up to 60 free shares depending on your deposit size. You do need to claim the free shares and maintain your balance until the shares vest. The easiest way to do that is to just leave your deposit as cash and collect the 8.1% APY until the shares arrive. If you absolutely must own shares for some reason, hold the ETF BOX, ticker BOXX, which is designed to mimic treasury returns and not go down in share price. For existing users, there are no free shares for us with the deposits, but every day we should go to the task center and claim Moo points. You get points for logging in, paper trading, reading Mumu's articles, and whatever else they put in front of us. Once you have enough points, you can trade the points for vouchers for cash rewards when you buy shares, or merch if you really want to. No matter where your flagship broker is, Mumu is a great addition to your portfolio because of how much they give back to users. Sign up with my referral to get the full reward and so I can get paid. Thank you once again to Mumu. Now let's get back to the 3K challenge so we can see if I'm cooking or getting cooked. It's about 20 minutes after market open on Thursday morning. The market is recovering from a modest fade late yesterday, and Soxal is looking real strong, with Broadcom and Texas Instruments leading the charge. TXN in particular had a really strong earnings report. So Soxal is up big, still about 40 cents away from my $12 covered call, but working its way up. Over on Mumu, I'm at $13,182, so only $18 away from my first crab rangoon if everything goes according to plan. As for my Soxal covered call, I could take it or leave it whether it gets assigned or not. It's still got some room to run before it's in the money, and there's still tomorrow, so it could go either way. I might be a little upset if Soxal goes to 14, but I'm cool with ditching at 12 and change. Meanwhile, my Condor is basically flat for the day and up $40 overall. There's a long way to go before this one gets managed. I'll check back in later and see what we got. It's about 2:30 p.m. Both SPY and Soxal have really had a sharp run, much more than I expected. Soxal is bouncing around my $12 strike. If I do get assigned tomorrow, that's fine. I'll reinvest the gains and probably start a wheel. If I don't get assigned, I'll continue to sell out of the money covered calls. With SPY rising so much, my Condor is now in the red by about $40. My short call is the culprit, since that contract is gaining more value than the others are losing. But with over a month to expiration and another $30 until I hit my break even, I'm not sweating this. It's just part of the waiting game. I need to upload this video today since I'll be on the road tomorrow, and if I don't upload tonight, you're not getting a video. So, since you'll be watching this over the weekend, you'll be able to look back at Friday and see how my Soxal position turned out. If Soxal is under $10 on Friday afternoon, assume I am sad. If Soxal is between $11.50 and $12.50, assume I am happy. And if Soxal is $13 or higher, assume my whole weekend is ruined. In any case, I expect that I'll finish with a strong recovery from at least the last episode, unless we tank on Friday. And I'll hop into next week expecting to sell a Soxal short option to initiate the wheel, and I'll hold my condor until 50% gain, whenever that comes. Don't forget to join our free Discord to enjoy the action up close, and join Patreon for the trades chat room where I post my trades in real time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.